right, welcome back, everybody. We just got done watching Apocalypto, brought to you by this man over here.
The champion of the week.
Yes.
And um, so Ricky and I have already seen the movie. Had already seen the movie before. So Nick and Izzy, what did you guys think?
So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I wasn't able to watch the first 20 minutes of the movie. Um,
Ching.
my
Wow.
parents
You stepped out
called
of
me
the
to do
theater?
something. And I thought it was gonna be quick, but it wasn't quick. But I feel like I didn't miss anything. Um,
It was just basically like the whole tribe messing with one guy because he was shooting blanks, and they made him run like put chile on his balls when he was gonna
For Bengay?
go have children with his wife, and the whole tribe laughed at him. So that's
Give
what you
you
had.
a sense of normalcy between what the tribe was before the baddies happened.
hmm,
Mm,
well, I don't know. To me, not really my type of movie. Uh, I
Not enough
mean,
action for you?
was there
I
enough
mean, it has
revenge?
action. It doesn't have the type of action that I like.
No pew
I
pew
don't
pew.
know.
No gun?
Not
Um,
enough explosions.
Oh yeah, it's not
I
directed
don't
by Michael
know.
Bay.
No,
It's like
I know kung fu.
yes, yes. I don't know. I mean, times were really bad, even if this is just a movie. But a lot of those things I can imagine not happening. Um, and personally, I don't. Uh, I don't know. Like when I was watching the movie, I didn't feel happy. I was like,
No.
I
why
think
am
that
I
was the
watching
point.
this movie? Um, I
So what
don't
you're
want to be
telling me is
sad right now. Like, this is
what
not
you're
like the people is fucked up. I already know this is America. Like, this is not that movie's not America, but we don't do it as that bad, but it's still fucked up.
so wait, when like Sylvester Stallone is fucking gunning down hundreds of people in the jungle, that makes you happy?
When they do it with the guns, yeah, usually, yeah.
That's okay when it's gun, When it's not
So
personal.
Well, it's not when it's not personal. I didn't say anything because I thought Andy was gonna say something because it looked like he was gonna say something. Um,
was, but then I
but
was like,
Oh, I was say, but to me, like when Sylvester Stallone guns somebody, those are usually all just they're just a movie. But like to me, like this one is more like
Much
real,
more
even
real.
though those things that Sylvester Stallone can happen to some
Mhm.
extent, but a lot of them cannot because they're like there's like realism here, and then there's
Yeah,
Sylvester Stallone, like this
and
is
then you have
not
Sylvester
real.
like with the Bowie knife just cutting someone's head off, like the flick of
are
his
you
finger.
trying to say that the Matrix can't happen? Because
Sorry,
according
I'm
to
sorry,
Elon
Andy.
Musk, according to Elon Musk, we are in the Matrix.
Sorry, Andy. Sorry to spoil it for you. It's like
I'm just
saying
saying,
But
SAO is happening right now. And the sad reality is that we're not even close right now.
it's not, Nick.
Nah, Andy, I'm sorry.
Nick, that's
but
like
I
two different things.
I watch a movie for
I agree with Nick.
entertainment, and to me, this movie didn't feel like I was watching
Entertaining.
it for entertaining. But
See,
I mean, I know
I
you
agree
guys
with
will
Nick.
like it because of how it's made and stuff, but that's just that's just my opinion.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fair.
Like you guys remember when I showed Old Boy, how that was like a depressing, weird ass movie? This
Uh,
had like
Yeah,
that
that's
kind of
like this movie,
feel.
except that movie was total fucked up. This movie is like not
This
as fucked
it
up, but it's still like it.
they're
I
they're
forgot we
made
saw
to
that
make
movie.
you feel uncomfortable and portraying something like because a lot of times in history you're like, oh my god, I wish I could go back to the Middle Ages. It was such a good time, the kings and the knights, and then you go see what it really was like, and it was like fucking Apocalypto, and you have people just dying left and right, like for no real reason, disease and everything. It puts a more realistic, grounded view on it. and I like that about it. It was like it
Yeah.
doesn't. It's not cartoony. It was more realistic representation of like
It,
this shit's fucked.
it's definitely meant to be thought provoking. It's kind of like how when they did the Passion of the Christ, everybody was like,
The shit sucked.
Yeah.
but so what would you give it in numbers then, Nick?
I mean, if it's like for me,
Not
no, I'm
applicable.
never recommending that movie to anybody. I'm gonna
Does
like,
not make you feel good.
yeah, I'm not gonna tell anybody to watch that movie because nobody wants, especially right now. Do not watch that movie. Like I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd still give it at least a 5, even though I didn't enjoy it at all.
But you didn't enjoy it because it made you uncomfortable, not because it was a bad movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for me, like I could even go down to put it as a 2 because I'm never gonna watch this movie ever again. Never recommend this movie to anybody. But just because, like, in terms of the movie as a whole, like if I didn't give a like, let's say I was looking for this type of movie, I guess
Mhm.
somehow be okay with this, then I'd give it
Yeah.
like something. So like it's
Okay.
not like total garbage of a movie. It's just that I would
Yeah,
never
it's
tell
just not a movie
anybody,
for you.
in my opinion, to watch this movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for Nick's stream for $5, Nick has to watch a minute of Apocalypto.
The worst parts of it.
Andy, that already
Um,
happened.
Yeah, but you have to watch it again. The highlights, Nick. You have to watch the highlights.
Mhm.
Well, I
Or
meant
he's
the
eating the
stream
balls.
already happened, Andy.
Your stream?
He's lying.
By that
No,
I mean this episode's gonna be released in like 6 years from now. So
Yeah, but the you
Oh, no.
of the future is different from the you of now. We're gonna look back on this moment and be like, "See, Nick, you should have done that. Why didn't you do that? You knew at the time you could have done that. You didn't do it." But
But yeah, I agree. I agree with Nick's sentiment. Although I'm more of when I watch movies, I like to feel different things. Like, if a movie's always gonna make me feel good, it's okay. You know, sometimes you gotta have feel good movies, and then sometimes you gotta have like horror movies that make you feel uncomfortable. And I'm like, that's some good stuff. Make me feel uncomfortable. Let me experience something. You know.
well, but like
And
I don't mean like I just want to say like for example, like your like damn it, your voice or silent voice, like those they don't make you feel happy, but I like those movies or like scary
yeah,
movies.
well,
But I just mean like this particular type of fucked up, or not fucked
yeah,
up, but whatever word you want to use.
you can have a movie that doesn't make you feel happy, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's disturbing or like fucked up, right? Like that's a sad movie and like rom-coms, tearjerkers, those are a popular genre.
Hitch.
Dude, rom-coms?
Yeah.
The only one that's valid is Hitch. I'm just saying.
I think there's a couple, but
Hitch is like okay.
Hitch is like the best
50
one.
First Dates, is that a rom com?
That is a rom-com.
I think so.
That's better than Hitch.
Whoa, those are fighting words, Nick. You need to calm down. If not, we're gonna make
You
you
want me to start a-
again next week.
He's gonna start a fight. I'll choose another disturbing movie when I get a chance. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it because it made you like think about, not everything's all sunshine and rainbows, right? And I think it did that. It knew what it was trying to do. Um, it knew it wanted to do a realistic portrayal of how bad it was, and it did that, and it did that well. I think. There was some problems that I had, like the chasing. I felt like it was very long. Like in the amount of time they're like, "Oh, got attacked by a jaguar." This guy would have been like gone, and they wouldn't know how to find him. I think that was like my biggest gripe with them. Everything else, I liked how they portrayed everything. I liked how they showed like all the tribes like trying to coexist within each other, and then they get fucking raided and everything. It was gruesome, and it did that really well. And I think that's the strength of this movie. That what it went for, it achieved, and it achieved it well. It made me feel uncomfortable because I was like, I definitely would not want to be living in these time periods. Like you have kids dying of fucking the plague, or I don't know what it was then, because they hadn't met the Spaniards yet. You had like old people with mental illnesses and like diseases that nobody cares about, and then you had people being sold onto slavery. I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't want to be here right now. But that's what it was going for, and I like that it achieved it. And for that, I think overall, I really enjoyed this movie, and I thought it was. I can see why it's revered. Like a lot of people always like recommend it, and like, oh, you should watch this movie. And now I can see why. I feel like this. I would give it like a strong 8.5. Um, on the easy scale, it's probably like a really good Zazzy, maybe into the incredible range. I feel like I would need to rewatch it, but I don't think it gave me like an emotional connection between the characters. It felt like I was watching like a Nat Geo
Yeah,
documentary.
it did. It's very
And I hate those.
very like the dark side of history kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still appreciate it. I like that, but I think just for me, I like if I want to give something like a really good rating, I like to have some form of emotional connection to the characters. But even though I wasn't like invested in them, I was like, this shit is fucked, man. This
So
guy's eating balls over here. He's getting attacked. His wife is getting raped, and their
so
city is getting burnt.
would you have liked it more if they spent a little bit of more time like doing like focusing on like the tribe life before everything went to shit?
Maybe. I don't know. Because I think it did well. Like it showed enough of the tribe life to see, "Oh, this is how the tribe is. This is, they're still bullying, right? You have like the typical social dynamic. Um and you have the typical, in-law that's like, hey, give me some fucking grandchildren, all right? Um and you have all that. So that's a way to like relate it to what we have like in our society, right? But if they it depends on really how they would do it. If they focus on it just for the sake of giving it to you, like shoehorn it in, I feel like that would have taken away from it, and I would prefer how it was. But if it was like an organic thing, maybe I would need to see. It would depend on the execution, I think, for me.
Well, I'll call
But
up Mel Gibson and I'll tell him to
yeah,
give it a second try.
tell him the easy scale is reading highly of his movies.
I feel like Nick missed all like the funny, like kind of goofy parts of the movie,
He
and
just
like
went into the set.
he literally just like saw like came into the movie when everyone was just dying. I was like, what's happening?
You're not wrong. That's exactly what
That is
happened. I
true.
just saw an animal die and then I had to go. And then I came back and more dying started happening.
Oh, so you missed the part where he was eating balls, right?
Yes.
Even in a way that's kind of fucked up. They're bullying him like we have bullying now.
I mean, I feel like that's just pretty common. People kind of messing with each other, and they
Hmm.
kind
And then put Ben
it's
Gay
like
on his
it's like a
on his
timeless
balls.
thing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think Nick would have at least enjoyed, I guess, the beginning. 'Cause there was less of that. Uh,
Before it became a roller coaster of emotion, it was like happy, and then the Mayans attacked. And it's saying,
yeah.
This is how the movie started
Um,
off for me. Animal died, man's attacked.
Overall, I really like this movie. I saw it. I mean, kind of when it came out, so a while back, and it's probably been like a solid like 15 years since I've seen this. Uh, Overall, I like it. I think Izzy's right. Like, there isn't really much of a connection with the characters, and I thought that was okay. I just like the portrayal of the civilizations. Some of it which is accurate. I kind of did some reading on it, like just right now. Um, they're like saying how the sacrifices were more like Aztec-like rather than Mayan-like. Just because of like the sheer numbers and stuff like that. But I mean, either way, like it's still kind of cool. I always like envisioning like old cities and old like empires like in their heyday, kind of
yeah,
like
like
when
how they
everything was,
function and everything.
yeah, like how they used to be. Eh, that's one of the reasons I want like within when I watch documentaries, like when they like recreate like ancient Egypt or like you know the ancient like Aztec or Mayan cultures, like and watching their cities like as they were before they became ruins, it's always kind of cool to see.
Mhm.
Um,
I
and
have
I guess just like watching the gruesome part, like I guess the the not so nice parts of their culture,
The part that
killing
most
people.
people gloss over, right?
Yeah, 'cause, I
Yeah,
mean, like when you study history, they like go like, oh, their civilization's great and whatnot, and they had all these advancements and stuff, even though it was so long ago. And it's kind of like, yeah, but they're doing this.
yeah,
Not everything had
exactly.
that, but yeah, you can't. I feel like you can't not talk.
The Disney freeze.
Did he
Uh, back to you by
yeah,
this commercial break right here.
Nick just slap a technical difficulty like sticker on him?
Right?
No, we need his
uh,
opinion. It matters.
Disney.
Um,
Disney.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
I'm
Oh,
back.
you're
back.
back.
He's back.
You were
he
gone
was
for
just
like a
he was
minute.
just chilling. He was like, I mean, I just chill.
I was talking, and then I saw everybody stop moving, and I was like, "Oh, I froze or something."
No, sir, it was just you.
um, I don't know what I was saying, but Ricky, with that comment about how you like looking at civilizations and stuff and how they lived and like they're not always like warfare stuff.
Yeah.
In links, I put a link to a YouTube channel. It's called Invicta, and he talks about like Roman civilizations, Viking, Mayan, and like their day-to-day lives and like how other stuff like that is and how their cities and cultures were laid out. So I
Yeah.
think you might like that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I might check that out. Um, but yeah, I kind of just like the depiction of it. And I think like the story was kind of cool. Like just like in general, him like running and like hunting them towards the end of the movie. Um, and what's it called? Yeah, I mean, it had somewhat of a happy ending towards the end. I mean, like I wouldn't say it's
I
like
mean,
completely miserable,
happy.
but it's
Mm.
somewhat happy.
I
America's
mean,
about to
it,
come in
it,
and
it
fuck
was
shit up.
to you it was happy. To Izzy is
Spain.
like
Sorry,
to
yeah.
you to Izzy it was like, here comes the Spanish Inquisition.
These guys
Yeah.
don't take any breaks.
Yeah, everything would have been bad if it was just it ended with the Mayans, but then it ended with the Spaniards coming in, and it's just like, oh, that's a whole nother level of bad.
Yeah.
No one ever
Um,
suspects the Spanish Inquisition.
I mean, this movie is definitely kind of is pretty gory.
Mhm.
Like I forgot how gory this was until I saw like all the blood and like decapitations.
A heart
like
coming out,
there was a lot of
but
hearts in this movie.
mhm. But I like that it wasn't like a cartoonish, like horror movies, slasher movies. They like cut like something very little and then gushes like fountains of blood. This was a
Yeah.
more like the rest of the tone of the movie. It was a more realistic gory thing, which makes it even more disturbing. Because when you see a serial killer like cut someone's head off and a fountain of blood comes out, you're like, nah, that can't happen. But you see this dude like get whacked in the face and like blood is like barely coming out, but you can still see he's like suffering. You're like, yeah, that's realistic. I don't want to like that could happen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, I like this movie. I would always recommend this movie to someone. Just because I like this style of movie. I think it's fun to watch. It's very suspenseful and kind of keeps you like on edge. And if you don't like that feeling, you probably shouldn't watch this movie.
Yeah, it's
uh,
it's
but
definitely a very tense movie.
but overall, I enjoy it. I give it a solid 8. And I would probably watch it again. At some point whenever I convince someone else to watch it.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like, I especially like the transition from the movie. I thought it was just gonna be like depressing the entire time. Well, super depressing the entire time, and then we went into he gets in the fucking quicksand, comes out. He's fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger from the Predator. Now we flipped the story. We're getting 2 action movies in one, and I was like, oh, I'm down for this, you know.
So when
So
he
I
was
enjoyed
like
that.
when he was on all fours, he was like, "Oh, the Jaguar."
Yeah, I was like, Jaguar Paw is coming, Jaguar Man. All right.
All
Uh,
right. So, me, similarly to Ricky, I saw it where when it came out. What is it, like 2006, Ricky?
yeah.
Something like that. I mean, I liked it. I mean, back then I was like, 14 years ago. Damn. I mean, it was it was more shocking back then than it is now. Um, but yeah, quite honestly, I fell asleep through a little bit of it. Um,
Ching.
Wow.
it wa-
Classic
it
Andy.
it was well, I mean, I didn't think I was missing much since I already knew what was going on, but I
So
kind
you
of
should
fell
pay
asleep
more attention, Andy.
around the time when like there was like foreshadowing to the time when like the foreshadowing was coming true.
So like the
So
whole
I,
movie?
I didn't miss too much. Um, but yeah, it's like it is definitely a dark, more like realistic. It's Mel Gibson definitely went for more thought provoking thing. Um,
Mm.
I would probably recommend it to people like just to watch it at least once because I do feel like it is one of those movies that like, hey, like you should probably not go without having watched this movie at least once, just because of the nature of it. It's kind of like those books that like everyone's like always like, hey, you should have read like Heart of Darkness or Lord of the Flies and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
some like the heavy stories, just so you get more of a feel of like that aspect of things. But as far as this movie, I think the cinematography was good. The actors played their portions really well. Um, the pacing, um, I thought the pacing was pretty good overall. Um, the depictions of when they reached the main Mayan city, and as far as like how like people were like they were basically being like worked to death because of breathing in all that powder. I thought that like is very that is very realistic, very like um a very conqueror like thing to do. Kind of like that's how because that's how civilizations are built. For better or worse, every big civilization started out like that. Um and especially the chase scene had its exciting moments. I mean, if you watch enough movies, you know where it's going to end up, but just kind of like watching it being like, oh, he's baiting the guy and making him angry or to make stupid decisions, and and that's like a really good tactic to do overall, so that was like felt really nice. And then just to turn it around is just like, hey, all this might have been in their own world, but once I saw like the Spanish ships, it's kind of like, oh shit, well now the bigger world is going to be introduced to them.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give this movie at around like an 8. uh it was very well done. It's not the best movie. It's definitely not something that can probably keep your attention very well, at least for me personally, like a second time around for that matter. uh I
Proven
definitely
today.
yeah. um but overall it's pretty decent work. uh I enjoyed it. It's kind of cool to have like two people that did see the movie before and two people that are totally new to it, see how they
And one
reacted
person
to
that
it.
missed the first half of it.
Oh yeah,
20 minutes of it.
Izzy's dogs back there, they missed it because they were doing
Sleep.
whatever dogs do. But
um, one quick note that I forgot to mention that I liked about the movie was that it was all done in like Mayan, like the language is spoken throughout the whole movie, which is
Hmm.
pretty
yeah,
cool. Every
it
time
was
they do like movies like that, like when they do like a somewhat like cultural historical piece, somewhat like when the actors are actually speaking the language of that time and of the area, I think that's a good feature to have. Like the movie would have been much less impactful if they were all just speaking English.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I That is really good detail, and that's like one of those details that shows like, hey, they're really putting in the work to this. They could have easily done it in English, but they took the extra mile to be like, hey, let's translate all of this into Mayan.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
though they should
one
have picked up something from anime. Those subtitles were too tiny. Should have made them substantially
I
bigger.
think
that
that's
That
wasn't
was the
that's not the
website.
movie
That was
one, that was the
the
website.
website.
that's 2B's problem.
Yeah.
And Nick, one day I'm gonna try and get like at least 1 hour to go by without you mentioning anime. It's gonna be hard, but I'm gonna try.
Not possible.
I'll
You
probably
can
throw in
try.
like a Sylvester Stallone movie, and you'll be like, so it's like, oh yeah, Rocky. Trying to remember that what the speech was, and then you're gonna forget about all about anime for at least
No,
an
Rocket
hour.
can be compared to One Punch Man.
There's
And
a lot of boxing
he cannot.
Another thing that I liked about the movie is that how well it held up to like now standards. Like when you picture an old movie, you're like, oh, shitty effects, oh, bad like
That
bad like
animal? That animal?
animatronics.
Well,
I'm
so
gonna bring it to that. So most of it, I thought held up really well. The practical effects, the way they did everything, held up well, with the exception of a couple scenes. Particularly the waterfall scenes where it just looks like they
Oh
CG
yeah.
someone straight into there. But other than that, I was like, this could have been made like now. Just like obviously upgrade the graphics of the camera, and it feels like it could have been made now.
I think Nick would have liked it better if instead of Mel Gibson, it was Michael Bay.
I think I would have hated it if it was Michael Bay.
I don't know. Like, who made a Joker movie?
I don't know
Joker
who made
movie?
that.
Because that's also like like a realistic or attempting to be a realistic movie. Like
Joaquin
I
Phoenix's
watched
Joker.
that movie. Huh?
Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is the one you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so. The one that they
The one
just
with
it was
the newest
his
one.
movie, not like Batman. It was his movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, it's not even the Joker, but yeah, it was Todd Phillips.
Like that movie, I personally don't like it. 'Cause to me, it's
Oh, you
just
didn't like that
fake.
movie?
Like
You didn't
I
like
told people that everybody will recommend you that movie, but it's too realistic. Because it really is. It's all about like mental health essentially.
Yeah.
The bad sides of mental health and the realism of New York.
Mhm.
And it's just like I said, I don't pay to go watch something that's gonna like my life is like right here, right? I'm watching somebody's life which is super real right here. I don't need me to go down. I need something to bring me higher than lower.
Nick, although that director, the one that did Joker, is a favorite one of yours.
I mean,
He
like
did
I
he
said,
did
I'm talking about
Project
the
X
movie
and the
itself.
I know, but you asked who the director was. He did The Hangover and he did
Oh, Hangover's
Project X.
garbage.
But you like Project
Yeah,
X. Well, you at least like
I
the
like the
music
music
from
of Project X, but yeah.
Yeah, he likes the music.
yeah,
Um,
it's definitely another one of those uncomfortable that you
yeah.
add on there. It's definitely not for everyone. Like these sets of movies are definitely not for everyone. Like some people
I thought
just
the
can't
Joker was
handle being
overhyped.
uncomfortable. Some people can't handle like the disturbing content, and that's okay. Like cinema. That's why cinema caters to a large genre of things, right? You don't need to watch all of it, but if you do want to dip your toes into it, this is one of the movies that'd be like, hey, you should probably watch this one if you want to try it. If you want to see if you like it, this genre of thing.
Yeah.
So that's it for this week's movies. This
Movies of Virginia.
you,
Don't
you
forget
guys
that
can hear
it's
as
trademarked.
that was a voice in my head. My headphones
Are
shut
you?
off. I ran out of battery.
Oh.
I can't hear you guys.
Oh, I thought he was frozen. Like, is he? And I was like, oh, okay.
My headphones shut off, so it's like I can't hear with them anymore. But I was gonna say, that's my hair just. But anyway, that's it for this week's movie review. Stay tuned for the next SSG competition. I don't know if Ricky, if you have a game in mind yet.
No, not yet. Maybe come
Well,
up with that.
Find
stay
out next
tuned
week.
and be ready to be surprised, and we'll see what movie we watch next week. So, till then, like,
Bye.
comment,
comment,
subscribe.
subscribe.
Yeah, do those things.
Make sure
I
to
was
tell
like,
us what you thought about the movie and how
If you
bad I am wrong.
Bye.
Mm.